Dirt roads to rock crawling, two-buck chuck to screaming eagle, moonshine to 50-year-old single malt. We talk about it all here on Wheelin' Wine and Whiskey with your hosts, Jason and Chris.
Welcome to the Wheeling Wine and Whiskey Podcast, episode 264. Hello, Chris.
Hello, how you doing? I'm here, present
and accounted for. All right. Bueller.
That was a great movie.
Bueller.
Kids drooling on the table on their desks and stuff.
All right. Well, here we are. We are into June. Summer is here, Chris, whether you like it or not.
I know.
Warm weather's here.
We had one heat wave already, and another one's getting ready to roll through.
Yeah, but it looks like it's only going to last a couple days, and it's like 90s. So
those are the ones I like.
Low 90s
short
are
and
perfect.
Sweet. Yeah,
that's nice. Makes for great evenings.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So, yes. So we're both in our home studios and got our fans rolling and AC and our fans are synchronized. So we're ready. We're ready for this podcast. So
that's right.
This is going to be
lots to cover. I mean, we're not here to give you the weather report. We'll obviously give you the details about what the weather was experienced on the trail when Jason was out wheeling last weekend. But in the meantime, we have some business like we always like to conduct early in the episode so we can cover those bases. Business, that's right. So one of the things I want to always remind our listeners of is the irate4x4.com website that Austin has been such a great supporter of the off-road community, giving everybody a place to centralize and be able to have, the forums and, lively discussions about various topics, whether it's Jeeps, Toyotas, International Harvesters, or whatever, some of these crazy buggy creations that people are building and whatnot. All that good stuff is all centralized at irate4x4.com.
Yes, it is.
And you can create a free account at irate4x4.com so you can go in there and see all the forums. But one of the coolest places about this irate website is going to watch, listen, and discuss, where you can scroll down to the near the bottom there, and you'll see Wheeling Wine and Whiskey Podcast, and that's our area that we have that shows. You can see all of our past shows, listen to all of our past shows. You can also comment on them, and there's a lively discussion on a few of the episodes in the past there. So it's a great place. It's also, when you're in that web area, you can also find links on the right side of the screen under our big logo there, where you can directly support the show through a PayPal account. And we certainly, it's not required, but it's certainly appreciated.
Correct.
So we don't have any new supporters of the show right now to talk about, but and I know I've been promising for the last few episodes that we would be, or that I would be, giving updates on people that have been supporting the show for quite a while. We've been, I believe, through the various platforms. We started out with Patreon, and we obviously abandoned that and moved over to irate. But we've had some people that have been supporting the show for over 4 years. So that's we would certainly want to give them their due credit. It's a big shout out. So I'm working on getting that done so we can acknowledge their support.
Exactly. All right. Well, that's good. I got some voicemails.
Oh, sweet. Let's roll some voicemails.
Voicemails have been rolling in here.
Get into some reviews after that.
This is going to be a good one.
Here we go. Ready? Ready?
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Ready, Freddy. Oh boy. Chris Farley.
My name is Matt Foley, and I am a motivational speaker. Now it's come to my attention that you've been taking a little time off to go on your little Inuit vacation. And I hope you know too much vacation time leads you to living in a van down by the river.
Oh no, he's back down by the river.
You don't have a van with that landslide money and all that hullabaloo. So you probably end up living in a fifth wheel at the bottom of Chocolate Thunder. Just be sure that you get back to work sometime soon, because the rest of us need that money to trickle down. Okay?
Wow.
Matt Foley calling in. That's great. I love Matt Foley. So good.
All All right.
What? That's all you got to say?
I don't know what else to say.
I love how he acknowledged the Lance life though by the river. That's
right.
Bottom of Chocolate Thunder. That's great.
Well, if Chocolate Thunder's a river, we got bigger problems.
All right, here I haven't heard this one. This is another new one, and it's let's see here. Okay, let's get speaker on and go.
Hey there, this is your favorite asshole truck driver on the road here, Cody the albino sand squirrel calling in again. You thought you could get rid of me? You got to try harder than that. That's what the ex-wife. Anyway,
albino sand.
Wow, I just fucking lost the train of thought. That happens, man. Shit happens when you're huffing glue and drawing 18 books. I'm joking about the huffing glue part. Where am I? You'll find out when I spend the paper for crashing this shit. Anyway, listening to last podcast here, man, and talking about I'm glad to hear you guys are getting out there, wheeling a little more. Summer's coming in for you guys. Unfortunately for me, living in Arizona, it means wheeling season's kind of tapering off there. But jet ski season's all fucking going all the rage, but I'm fucking hauling. I'm going to have to be doing some wave humping out there in the lake, but that brings me to the next point, and some of you guys covered about trail closures and stuff. That's happened to the water recreation stuff too. You know, I got older jet skis, or two strokers, whatever you want to call it. And a lot of places are not allowing me to ride anymore. They're having for years. So,
wow.
Just letting your listeners know, I mean, this is a real damn thing. And, throw a few bucks into the Blue Ribbon or the hell this coalition. I'm sure Jason or Chris will correct me if I'm wrong. Again, helping glue and driving trucks, I might be wrong. I don't know. Anyway, always good to hear you guys' podcast. Toyotas suck. I'm going to try to find me some lot lizards, and y'all take it easy. I'll catch you on the back haul. Goodbye.
Wow.
That's great.
There's a lot going on there.
Alabama. Albino sand squirrel. The albino sand squirrel. Wait, let's hear that.
Hey there, this is your favorite asshole truck driver on the road here, Cody the albino sand squirrel.
Cody, that's it. Cody, the albino sand squirrel. He's called in once before.
Yeah, he has.
Appreciate the phone call, Cody.
That's great.
There was a lot to unpack in there. Let's see. First, I'm glad we have the explicit language. Two, Blue Ribbon Coalition. I don't know about the waters. There's got to be. Does that cover the waterways?
Well, it's off road. I mean, most assuredly.
Well, it is off road. You're not on a fucking road. You're on the water. Okay, sure.
Right. I don't know. I mean, maybe Ben can speak to that. But sharetrails.org is the link or the website you want to go to. That's Blue Ribbon Coalition's URL, sharetrails.org. And you can poke your way around in there and find where the donate button is. I don't have it up on my screen right now. So, it's pretty self-explanatory. And every dollar that you give them is money that goes towards the good fight to make sure that
that's right.
Keep public lands open because we're under attack constantly.
Send money. You can also send money to Wheeling Wine and Whiskey, care of Jason or Lorenzo. No, absolutely.
Small unmarked bills.
But he's right. The two strokes, we had the red and green sticker thing going on in California. And, there was a chunk of the year that you couldn't ride a red sticker bike because it was two stroke and it was hot. So the further south you got from like Northern California, the season was a little bit longer, but you got into Southern California and the season got really shorter because of the warmer climate and stuff down there. But yeah, that sucks. Those old jet skis are pretty cool.
Oh yeah, no, I had a buddy that had one, and we used to send it pretty hard at Lake Tahoe.
Oh yeah, living in Arizona, yeah, you're spending a lot of water days, I can imagine.
Until the water dries up.
Oh, boy, you're so optimistic, Chris. It's awesome. All right. Well, thanks for calling in, Cody.
Yeah.
That was highly entertaining.
You got more?
All right. We got another one here.
Oh, you do? Okay. Right on.
Hey, it's Kevin here again. Yeah, apparently I was standing across from Chris the whole time. I didn't even recognize him, like within 10 feet. Question for you guys. Do you guys have any leads on 43s or know what's going on? Seems like 40s have taken over the market or everywhere. 43s, not so much.
Mm-hmm.
I got a set of 43 SX2s right now, but they're about ready to fall apart. 42s are the only other ones that are 5 years old. What are the trail boxes? I don't know enough about those yet. But yeah, that was my question. I'm sure I'll hear this voicemail in about 2 months again.
No.
All right, you guys have a good one.
Not gonna take that.
So that's Kevin Poole.
Yeah.
So he did see you, or at least was close by you.
Yeah, we were standing across from each other, and neither one of us recognized the other.
Thanks for playing. Yeah, 43s. I know the buggy's about due. They're San Hollow rated right now, which means they're almost bald, which works great on the rock. Although I did climb up a pretty significant snow mountain this last weekend with those tires aired down to 1 psi. But yeah, flotation is key, but some lugs on there would have helped me out a little bit.
Paddles, maybe.
So yeah, I know it's. I'm not looking forward to that bill coming up. So we shall see. But yeah, if you hear of any, let me know. Vice versa, I'll let you know, Kevin. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah,
and that concludes our phone messages.
Phone message or
yeah.
All right.
No, that's it.
That's it.
All right.
Okay. Well, so call in. If you want to leave a voice message, you can call into our hotline, voicemail hotline, which is 408-800-5169. Again, that is 408-800-5169. Give us a call and we get played back on the air. And you heard we play them all, apparently.
We play them all. Whatever. Just send it on in.
That's why we have the explicit label. Yeehaw.
Love to hear from our listeners. That's good. We got some creative, funny listeners out there. That's great.
All right. For sure. We have reviews. We do have 2 reviews. And again, I want to reiterate to our listeners that you can leave reviews on Apple Music or podcast, whatever they call that thing nowadays. I don't even know. You can leave it on Spotify. That's another place a lot of people are starting to leave reviews, which is super cool. And they're starting to be tallied on Chartable, which is also great. So all that stuff's linked together. So we're starting to see all the analytics for that. But what's the cool thing here is that on Spotify, I think I've mentioned it before on the show, is that people can comment on the individual shows rather than just generic stuff. But here they were commenting on the Party in Petaluma episode that I recorded, or that we recorded a few weeks ago, about me attending my niece's wedding up there. And so the father and mother of my niece, so my brother and sister-in-law both posted reviews. They've listened to the show and they loved it. They absolutely loved it. So my brother, his name is Jeff, and he posted this. He's not a big podcast listener. He does not listen to the show. My younger brother Pat listens to the show religiously, which is really cool. But Jeff, I guess, was urged by his one of his other daughters to listen to this episode, so he did, and he wrote a review. And he said, "This is one of the first podcasts I have listened to. Nice work." So there's that.
Well, that's a raving review.
Well, it's pretty.
I've listened to one podcast, and it's the best podcast I ever listened to.
Yep,
you're number one. Here's your participation trophy.
That's right. And then my sister-in-law, Leslie, wrote, "Thanks, Chris, for the Petaluma recap. So nice to see the wedding and the location from a different perspective. You and the boys look great, and we are so thrilled you celebrated with us." So there you go.
Well, there you go.
Super cool. Nice to hear from my family and relatives and so forth. So that's cool.
Absolutely.
And that's all the reviews right now. So if you want to leave a review, you can do it on either, multiple platforms, but DM Jason on the IG at Wheeling Wine and Whiskey and let him know that he wrote a review, and more than likely he and I have seen him already, but DM so he can get your address and shoot out a sticker to you in the mail.
Yes. Stickers are going out weekly here. I'm running out of envelopes. I got some envelopes from Ira and Lori before they moved to Arkansas.
Oh, they have
they're
like piles
bright colors. So if you get a bright colored envelope in the mail from Wheeling Wine and Whiskey, that's why. I didn't specifically go out and choose those. They chose me.
Oh, so, well, there you go.
But hey, free envelopes.
Exactly.
And they're heavy duty too. They're nice.
Just lightening their load from moving to Arkansas, that 2,000-mile drive or whatever.
I don't know if you'd want to send your resume in there. It's a nice bright yellow or blues and greens.
Well, maybe it pops out.
It would stand out, though. It would. Maybe that would work.
I don't think. Do people actually mail resumes anymore? I think they do everything on Indeed and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's all electronic.
And then they get electronically scanned, and they have the AI that says, nope, yep, nope, yep, nope, yep.
And then they start searching all your social media page and find this podcast and go, absolutely not.
He's out. And anybody that's been on the podcast, whether we've interviewed them or they've done a review, they're gone.
Or their name's been mentioned on the podcast. You're done. All right.
So what do we got? Hey, so what have you been doing?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Sitting on the couch eating bonbons.
Perfect. You look at
reruns of Family Ties.
Oh my God! You going there with fans? I would have gone with like Friends or Seinfeld or.
Adopt a Trail.
Adopt a Trail.
Yeah,
yep.
My back is not happy with Adopt a Trail right now. But we set out, and it was the only weekend that worked. For me, that was before 4th of July. We always try and clear the trail before 4th of July.
Right.
And with the late spring snows, it was like, okay, let's push it as close as we can to 4th of July. But then, there was just calendars, just not enough weekends in the calendar. So this was the weekend, and we sent it out weeks in advance and had an okay turnout on the email reservation list. But a few more people showed up that we didn't expect. So that was a pleasant surprise and
bonus,
greatly appreciated. Yes, bonus. So got up there Thursday evening, and we couldn't get into Horse Gulch Campground.
That's what you were saying.
Off of the main road, 709. 709 had snowdrifts and trees across the trail. So Forest Service didn't even clear 709 yet. So luckily, I got a phone call from CJ with a CJ right before I lost service heading up the hill. And he says, hey, no go on Horse Gulch. You got to camp at Black Springs. So I said, okay, Black Springs it is. So I pulled right in there. Daryl had already gone up there and saw that he couldn't get in on 709. Came back down the hill, like 15 minutes to get cell reception to let everybody know. And that's how CJ got a hold of me. So I pulled right in. He was right behind me with his daughter, Aubrey. And we set up camp and hung out. Beautiful weather. It was like high 60s, got down into the, I would say 50s at night, but beautiful, great,
good
high Sierra weather there. We're, you're about 6,500 feet or so at that camp. No snow in camp. Campground's, relatively new, 3-4 years old now?
Yeah, something like that.
We've always camped in that area before, but it was never a formal campground. It was just kind of an open area. So they graveled it. They put in a couple vault toilets and bare boxes and fire rings and picnic tables. So,
good.
Yeah, it's legit. No garbage service, no water. So haul it in, haul it out. Bring your dry camping. Bring your own water. But nice. It's right off the road. It's easy to get to, easy to maneuver in with trucks and trailers and stuff. So, so that was great. And then a few more people. One more person rolled in. Dan rolled in at like 2 a.m. And then Friday morning, more people rolled in. And so we had a pretty good crew. I think we had about 8 or 9 people on Friday. And so we started around 10 a.m. And we did the Corral Hollow Trail.
Sure.
So that's the Granite Bandits Adopt a Trail that we've had for over 20 years now. And it's a well-used trail. That's a cool trail. It's fun. It's used a lot by hunters.
Because it goes up to that cabin.
And it goes up to Bear Trap Cabin is, roughly halfway through the trail. So it was just getting over because I had the buggy. And since I wasn't camping at Horse Gulch off of 709, I had to take Bailey Ridge. It's called the Bailey Ridge Trail, which is Railtown's Adopt a Trail. And it's a little over 5 miles. Dirt. You go up to the ridge, great views, and then you drop back down onto 709. It's freaking awesome. Fun trail.
Uh-huh.
Well, about 3 minutes into the trail, we came across our first tree, and
so you're clearing trail before you get to trail.
we had over 20 trees just on Bailey Ridge.
Ooh.
I left a few that were just like off to the side that needed to be trimmed, but you could get around them safely without tearing up the trail and stuff.
Uh-huh.
So I left that for Railtown. So you're welcome. You do have a couple of trees to clear up there and some limbs, but everything else we drug off the trail, and trail's open.
Good.
So we're expecting a Christmas card and gift in the mail. We like whiskey.
Right.
Railtown, if you're listening. No, Rob was there from Railtown, and he joined us a little bit later in the day, Friday. So that was cool. And I said, "Yeah, your trail's clear." He says, "All right, I'll let him know." I said, "You literally got like 3 trees to address, and that's it." And then so we finally got over to 7N09. We had another group go up the highway, and they had to clear some trees on 7N09 just to get to Corral Hollow. And then they got
really in that short little segment from the gate by Cabbage Patch.
Yes, sir.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Because there's homes
lots of
there.
trees.
There's homeowners should have cleared those.
Yeah, right. Well, anyways, they got onto the trail before us, and then they said there's a really big tree up here, and so we needed the big saw. So I had the big saw, big still, and went up there and started hacking and slashing and cutting up trees and dragging them off trail. So on Friday alone, the buggy tractor
right.
pulled 55 trees.
What?
55 trees. And thank God Dan was with me. Dan, the man, I got a hold of him Tuesday earlier in the week, and I go, "Dude, it's Adopt a Trail. I forgot to tell you, are you available?" And he goes, "Yeah, I might be able to get Friday off." So he was able to get Friday off. Like I said, rolled into camp at like 2 a.m. on Thursday night. And then, he got in and out of the buggy, 55 times basically.
I'd have been dead.
Oh my God. And it was a lot of pulling. And so it was a pretty long day, and we had some snow. And what was interesting, and I haven't seen this before, but there was must have been a big wind event during the middle of winter when there was a lot of snow on the ground.
Uh-huh.
And so these big trees fell over, and all the debris with them, the branches and pine needles and stuff, and it shaded the snow. So you're cutting this tree, and there's 4 feet of snow underneath this thing, 6 feet of snow.
Wow.
So we had this huge snowbank to contend with once we cut the tree, because it was shading the snow and protecting the snow from melting fast. So, I mean, you could tell there was, off the trail and in meadows and stuff, it was still really wet. Like 2 weeks ago, there was snow sitting everywhere up there. It's just crazy how the late storms, and that snow just held. And then finally we started getting the warm temperatures and things started melting off.
Was there any mosquito issue or bug issue?
No, it wasn't that bad. There was a few in camp, but like it wasn't terrible at all. I didn't think. I don't know. They don't like me, thank God. But so we got through, and then I was seeing snow in places I've never seen snow before. Got to Bear Trap Cabin, got through the meadow there, and there was a lot of rivers and stuff running across the trail, and then we started climbing back up that ridge and had more trees there, and then we get up to the ridge, and then I started to drop down that north side.
Where we found the Jeep that time?
No, that was back a little bit, but this is that north side dropping into Bear Valley, and 5-6 feet of snow. There was just no way of getting through that. So that was our turnaround point. That's been our turnaround point the last 3 years, I think.
Well, that's bad news, but it's also great news that because as people know, or maybe not the locals don't know, but that's our snowpack. That's our water source for the California.
Yeah.
The stuff melts and it refills all the lakes up there, which trickles down. Trickles down through the stream system into the bigger reservoirs and ultimately into the Delta, which is a big source of drinking water for all of California. So it's important. Having snow.
It's happily to see it up there.
Exactly. The other option, of course, is not having snow and being in a drought situation, which is it's a bad situation. We've been there, we've done that, and I don't like it. So
don't like it. So turned around there. So anybody that's coming in from the Bear Valley side on Corral Hollow, you might run across a few trees, and sorry, we just couldn't get to them. So we turned around at that point, headed back to camp. Didn't get back to camp till like 6 something, I think it was. Fixed dinner, dead tired, and a couple cocktails. Sat around the campfire. Had a nice campfire that night, and next morning we woke up to do it again, and we had more people roll into camp.
Good.
Friday night, Saturday morning. So that was great. So I think I have everybody's name here off my foggy memory. So we had Oi, Sherry, Steph and CJ, Will, Kara, Daniel and I, Wayne, Mike and his wife. I can't think of his wife's name. I'm sorry, Mike. He was there helping us out last year. I know their dog's name is Peachy. Bob, David, Daryl and Aubrey, and then Eric and Dolly. Showed up, and Eric and Dolly helped out a ton because I was doing all the pooling on Friday, and we were able to. CJ did pool some on Friday. I shouldn't say all, but then Saturday, Eric and Dolly did a lot of tree pulling off the trail, which was great to have another rig there. And Kara and Stephanie stayed back. They got the cabins down there, down the hill in Dorrington, and they stayed back to cook us dinner that night.
Great.
So we had plenty of people on Saturday. We divided and conquered. We sent one team up 709 past Corral Hollow to just clear 709. And so they did that, and then they started up the ridge, Matley Ridge there, and then we came in the other direction, and we ended up meeting up right past where all the metric shit ton of trees down were, years ago.
Yeah.
So you drive through there, and like even Dolly was commenting, she was like, wow, all these trees uprooted. And I go, yeah, it was a serious wind shear event that happened up here.
It looked like a freaking war zone. It was.
It still does. It still does. Really? I mean, trails open, but there's just, root balls galore. So we hit snow up on the ridge, and coming down the ridge is where we hit this big snow bank. And I said, okay, well, we'll see. Because it was pretty firm, I mean, things were melting, but it was still few feet of snow on the ground. And I said, all right, I'm going to start down this thing, and I might turn it into a toboggan bobsled run, but it was decent traction. I was able to get down okay, and everybody dropped in behind me and no problem. And then we met up with the other group and had lunch. It was right around 1:00
at the normal lunch spot.
No, we didn't make it down there. So our tree count at that point with theirs and ours that day, and the 55 the day before, was at 97 trees.
Holy crap.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh man. And I was feeling it. And Dan was definitely feeling it. So I said, hey, we'll have lunch. And I said, we got some options here. We can go back down the trail that you guys just came up and go to our lunch spot area and divide and conquer there the other lower loop.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, or we can just head down back to camp. I said, or there's the snow hill we just came down. And I said, that's the way I'd like to go. It's the shortest distance for me to get back to camp. Oh, I failed to mention on Friday, okay, my buggy holds about 13 gallons of fuel.
Yeah.
I ran out of fuel on Friday.
Oops.
And I top off my tank the night before the morning of a run.
Yeah.
So I had a full tank, and that's how much motoring I was doing all day long, pulling, tugging trees off the trail. I ran out of fuel. Wow. I've never run out of fuel before in that buggy. So,
hey, if we can backtrack real quick, did you guys go to Bear Trap Cabin? What if you did? What's the condition? It looks. What's its condition after winter?
It's pretty poor. It's still standing. The door opens. Because usually that kind of gets all janky, but it's in need of repair. It's pretty sad actually. there's a bunch of stuff inside. There was a 3/4 bottle of wine there for you, some tequila, some
Great.
Captain Morgan was on the shelf. There was a toilet paper roll that was eaten up by the mice. I did not even go upstairs to look at the mattresses and stuff. That just, I had no desire to go up there.
No.
But took a quick peek inside. There was wood and, stuff to start a fire and everything. The last entry that Dan saw in the logbook was around New Year's. It was December 31st. So, and there was no tracks on the trail. There was a couple motorcycle tracks, like motorcycles could get around. In fact, we saw a couple motorcyclists, but that was it. There was no 4-wheel drive tracks. There was just too many down trees to get through the trail. So we were the first ones in, springtime here to get the trail back open, which is good because then people start, making volunteer trails around the trees, and that's no good.
Reroutes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, good. So what I saw, just to kind of jump in a little bit, I saw on Instagram Dolly posting a live feed or a live video where people were winching. I guess Eric was winching up the hill.
So that's right where you interjected there, and that's where we decided to go back up the hill. Not everybody, but people wanted to play in the snow, right? And so I said, well, let's see how far we can get. It's steep. It's like a 30-degree hill. So I was like, okay, I don't think we're going to make it up without winching, but let's give it a shot. Mm-hmm. So, you just drive forward, sink, back up, drive forward, sink, back up, and just keep trying to inch your way up the hill. But it was such a steep hill, you couldn't crawl it. And so I tried first. I gave it a few attempts, and I got, to this a third of the way up, I'd say. And then, everybody's airing down, and Wayne started punching through, and he started getting pretty far. But he was digging some holes, and then Eric tried, and we had a few people try, Will, CJ, and we were starting to get a little bit further and further. And then so I was ready. I was just like, okay, I'll just, get to where I can and winch from there. And CJ's all, dude, air down more. And I'm like, all right, I'm at 5. I'll go down to 1, And so I did. Essentially, all 4 were flat. And then I just let the eagle sing, man, just hammered down right before it hits the rev limiter, and just snow was a flying, and made it up, punched through a good chunk. I was like almost 2/3 of the way up the hill. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, okay, there was this tree stump that was down. I'm like, if I can get at that or just above it, I said, I can winch from there. So I backed up and gave it a couple more stabs, and I was able to get up past the tree trunk. And then I was within winching distance. So I said, okay, let's hook up the winch. So hooked up the winch to a tree saver, and winched my way up the hill. And so I got up to the top, and then CJ made it up, and Wayne and Eric and Will and Deshaun. Oh, Deshaun was there too. I forgot to mention Deshaun. He showed up for Saturday. So that gave us a head count of 17 people.
Sweet.
So Deshaun had a blast. He was like, this is cool. There's nothing better than wheeling on snow in June, man. You're in a t-shirt, and beautiful sunny day. And it's in the buggy. It's like a snowball fight from the snow that's coming off the tires, just going everywhere. But anyways, so we all made it up there, and then there was a dirt section, and then there was some more snow, but we were able to get up the last snow section without winching. Everybody did, and we headed back to camp. So the other group went down, and they took a separate, Daryl led them down and took a separate offshoot that's not technically our adopted trail, but we do run that trail occasionally. So he took them down that, which cuts off a little, gets you down lower on 7N09. Mm-hmm. And they hit 3 more trees. So that gave us a total of 100 trees.
Oh, wow. 100 trees in 2 days.
So, yeah. So we headed back to camp, got back to camp around 4:30-ish, I want to say. 4:30, 4:45, and dinner was at 6 down the hill, so it wasn't at camp. Just logistics. I said, hey, if I can catch a ride, let's just go down, and we'll go to Will and Kara opened up their new cabin, and we sat out on the deck, and Stephanie made homemade brisket, smoked brisket, homemade mac and cheese, homemade coleslaw, homemade cornbread with honey. Oh my gosh, it was so good. And then we had brownies with ice cream for dessert.
No, you can't go wrong with brownies and ice cream.
No, so it was a really good meal, and it was nice of them to open up their home, and so we hung out there for a while, and then headed back to camp, and then some people were staying in hotels and stuff, so everybody kind of separated their ways, and we went back to camp. Those of us camping and sat around the campfire and had some libations and eased into the evening. So
there you go.
It was the weather was great day. Even in the morning, you really didn't need a sweatshirt. It was just a nice moderate day all the way around, and definitely got a little cooler on Saturday, but it was perfect. And then Sunday morning, it was cooler. Threw a sweatshirt on, hanging out in the morning, but it was good, solid. Adopt a trail. So unfortunately we didn't get everything done, and I'm hearing rumors that there's going to be another group that heads back up there. So I hope that happens so they can clear out, but I'd wait a few weeks before that snow, as more of the snow's melted to get, you got up to Hunter's Camp up there.
Oh, Hunter's Camp,
off that ridge. And
going down
had to
that
clear
hill, that must have been gnarly.
Well, yeah, and just getting to it, where the cattle guard is, there was 4 feet of snow on the cattle guard. So in the shade there, and
wow.
And then got to Hunter's Camp. We cleared a couple trees just getting to Hunter's Camp, and then then the road going down into Matley Meadow. No go. There was 4 or 5 feet of snow there on that ridge.
Yeah,
and
that's like that.
That would have been death on a stick trying to drive down that thing and get slide down the hill.
Remember that death march we came up at that year where we notched?
But that was just a few snow drifts. I mean, this was like solid. This was solid snow all the way down. So would have been fun on skis or a sled or something, but not in a buggy with bald tires.
No, probably not.
So that loop needs to be completed as well, and I guarantee there's trees down there.
Oh yeah,
so
for sure.
Yeah, but it's good. We made. I mean, starting off Friday, and I'm like, oh my gosh, if we're hitting this many trees on Bailey Ridge, the rest of the trail's got to be screwed, and it was. But I'm surprised we got as far as we did, because it was just teamwork makes the dream work, and I'd just stay in the buggy and back up, and Dan would. Rig up the strap, my poor strap. I've been using this old strap, and I thought for sure it was going to snap. We had one that was about 5-6 feet off the ground, and it had splintered when it snapped. So it was still connected to the, snapped off with the about 5 feet up on the base of this tree. And so it wasn't completely disconnected there. And it's laying across the trail perpendicularly.
Those are scary ones. Those are scary
this
ones.
is not good. And so Oi and I were looking at it, and so I made some cuts, and it's snap, crackle, pop when you're cutting this thing and you're just waiting for something to go. I was on the uphill side. It was leaning, so I wasn't afraid of it coming back at me. But you just, once you cut through that thing, you don't know what it's going to do for sure. And all the tension it was under. But we got through. I got it like 90% of the way through it, hooked up the strap, and I started tugging it with the buggy and made like 6-7 good pulls, and it snapped, but it just wouldn't come apart. And then finally it broke, and then it fell on the side of the trail that was like a berm, it was an uphill side. So then had to have people dig a trench basically so I could pull this tree around and get it parallel with the trail. But that was the tree that was really blocking from getting the bear trap cabin, because it was completely, there was no way of getting around it either, because of the hillside on one side, and then the other side was so heavily wooded, and there was really no way around that tree. So anyways, at least that's cleared, and that was the one nasty one. Everything else was pretty straightforward, and most of them we could just pull right off, parallel with the trail or off to the side. So, yeah. But the strap's still there, but I think I'm going to retire it. I think I'll have to see if anybody has an old strap they want to donate next year that's on its way out, but a lot better shape than the one that I got, because they get beat up. I'd never use it for recovery.
No.
Although I think I did. I think that was our tree saver. No. Oh, yeah, it was. I think for me, it was my tree saver when I was winching up the snowy hill, but then we changed out to CJ's for everybody else because I go, hey, I don't trust this thing.
Oh, yeah. Perfect.
So, yeah. But it was it was good. Good, productive weekend. My back's killing me right now, but we'll be all right. And got, saw ran good and got one tank of fuel through it. That was it.
Really?
So
that's not
there was
bad.
more pulling than cutting.
Well, that's good. I mean, obviously having somebody, I've been on that operation where you're jumping out and strapping up and dragging just real quick.
Sure.
It's so much easier when you have to just push things to the side or drag things to the side. I mean, I'm sure the trees you were coming across were all various sizes, whether 6 inches in diameter up to 6 feet in diameter.
Yeah,
so.
There was some gnarly, some big stuff that definitely over 4 feet. That one that was up in the air was over 4 feet. Mm-hmm. It was a doozy.
Well, that's good. Sorry I missed it, but I was at my daughter's high school graduation. So, believe it or not, I've successfully raised 3 children that have graduated from high school.
Wow.
Shocking for me, but so
there you go.
We celebrated that on Friday, and then worked on Saturday, and I'm in my weekend right now. But I'm sorry I missed it. That's always one of my favorite trips during the year. It's like we've said numerous times on the show. It's a lot of hard work, but it's fun and it's rewarding to be able to do that. So hopefully, if your listeners are part of a club and you have access to trails like we have access to trails, you can go to the Forest Service and find out what trails aren't currently adopted by clubs or individuals, and you can rally the troops and help keep the trails open during the summertime.
We had a prospective member, David, that showed up, and he didn't know what we were about to do, but he was prepared. He had shovel, he had chainsaw, and everything.
Good.
And he that's exactly what he said after the first day. He's like, "Wow, that was cool to be part of that." Maintaining a trail, keeping that trail open. And he was having a blast. And then when we did the snow at the end, he didn't bring his rig up. He's got a Land Cruiser like Lee Limbs that's overloader, but pretty heavy. He says 7,000 pounds. I go, let's just not try to get that up this snowbank. So, but anyways, it was good. It's like I say, always a good time. But a lot of the usual suspects that are there did not make it for one reason or another. But congrats to Miranda for graduating. So now you can kick her out of the house.
Yeah, well, she's going to go to college in the fall. So
okay, good.
So she's going to mosey on her way. But and other big news in my reality, and I hadn't talked to you prior, but I think I kind of alluded to or kind of gave you a heads up before that I may be losing my storage from my camper and trailer. Yes. It's official. I need a new place to store my camper and trailer. I have until the end of this month, end of June, to relocate my junk. And I don't know where it's going to go, but it's probably going to be sitting in front of my house for a while.
You should buy Ira and Lori's house and just upgrade, and then you got that RV pad on the side.
Sure. Yeah, I just happen to have a couple mil laying around.
You do. I've been to your house.
Right.
I stick my hand in your couch cushions all the time, pulling out $100 bills. So
took the elevator down to the vault.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It was just like the one in what was that? Ocean's 13.
Right.
Ocean's 11.
Ocean's 11.
Ocean's 11 was the original one. Yeah. And the vault, biometrics, all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I have.
Cool.
That's my basement.
Yeah. I heard Scrooge McDuck. I never saw him down there, but I did hear him playing and all the coins and dollars down there that you have.
Right. Yeah, all joking aside, so if any listeners that live in the nearby area that have land, I'm looking for a place to land my junk. And
I got
pay.
room up here.
Yeah, that's a little bit inconvenient for me, but I appreciate the offer.
Okay.
Worst case scenario, it'll happen, but in the meantime, I got to find something closer to home.
Yeah, no kidding. So you're looking for somebody in the Livermore area.
Yep, Livermore.
Store a trailer and an RV. Lance.
Lance camper. Yeah.
Do you have the swing out jacks on your Lance? Can you fit your trailer like part way under your camper?
No, I do not.
No, you don't.
Outs. No.
Okay.
And
that works pretty good.
I bet. Yeah, that'd be ideal. But and the other worst, Craig has to move too, so that's kind of he's got to find a place for his stuff. So
well, it sounds like he's got something lined up.
He might. We'll see.
He knows people.
Anyway, so that's kind of there. And then, the truck. So I got it now. This is like a crunch time. The truck needs to go in for that service on the EGR cooler, which I made arrangements for today. And then I get that done. Then I got to get the camper and trailer off the guy's property and moved. So there's just kind of a lot of stuff happening all of a sudden.
Wow.
That I really hadn't planned on. And was hoping to avoid, but I'm apparently not going to be able to. So.
Sure. Yeah. For sure.
The good news is I can leave once I get everything settled down. I can leave the camper on the truck for the rest of the summer after I get the service done on the EGR, and then I'll just be ready to go. It's in the driveway. It's just like no big deal. I just have to find a place to park the trailer, which is more critical. So
it sucks because it just compounds things. I mean, that was the biggest thing for me when I was looking for a place. Is like maneuverability and not having to move 16 things around to get the buggy and trailer out and camper to go wheeling, is like, so the luxury of having some land is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Every trip I'm like, and then like when I came home, last night, dumped the camper. I got my dump station now and just parked it in my driveway, and just, I was like, this is great. I don't have to disconnect stuff. I'm not fighting for a parking spot. I don't have to move stuff around.
Well, you don't have 500 people parking in front of your house to walk up to the park anymore?
No. And then I could just, casually unload stuff this morning. So it was great.
Right on.
So I got some work to do on the buggy. I've been riding it hard and putting it away wet. And I threatened, I swore I'd get some stuff done before KOH. And I got a couple little things done, but not everything I wanted to. And so I got to go in and just really, after that fuel leak, I want to redo that fuel regulator filter setup and change a couple more hoses and get that set for summer. I need to service my RCVs. I need some new Heim joints. I got some clunks that I didn't have before, and it's definitely in the Heim joint area.
You mentioned something about a new winch cable too.
The winch cable is, oh my gosh, it's so bad. So it's like, I do have a new winch cable for it.
Winch rope, yeah.
So it's all that stuff. So I just need to, spend some time and get it dialed in, get it ready here for Rubicon and Ford Ice and, all that good stuff.
And that'll be here before you know it, man. I mean, it's amazing how fast time is flying right now. It's just like boom, 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 boom.
Exactly.
We're in almost the middle of June now, and next thing you know, it's going to be freaking August. Pow! There you go.
Yeah, exactly. So, so that's it amongst a myriad of projects here around the house that I'm trying to get done, and find a job in Nevada. So, never a dull moment here.
No, never a dull moment here either. So, right on. Well, that's super cool. Like I said, I'm sorry I missed it. Hopefully next year I can rally and get back on my normal schedule and be at these, no more graduations for a while for me. So,
okay.
I don't know about weddings. I can't make any promises on that, but, they just seem to trickle in occasionally, but anyway.
Well, there you go.
Real life nudges its nose into stuff that we want to do on the fun
there
stuff
it
we
is.
want to do. Yep. So,
yeah. No worries.
So upcoming events. I know that we've got the race at Prairie City at the end of the month.
Yeah, end of the month. Are you going to make it to that one? Is that on your calendar?
Well, the camper will be on the truck.
Your camper will be on the truck, ready to go. Okay, good.
So I'm going to do everything I can to be there for that. That's a big goal.
Yeah, that's in a couple weeks. Okay.
And we're getting into work. I'm getting ready to break ground on the new driving range construction project.
Okay.
And what's beautiful about that, and I just we had a big meeting last week, and we have another one tomorrow. This is one. I have nothing to do with it. It's a city-owned property. It's got city contractors, city engineers. We have people. I do nothing. I literally don't lift a finger until they turn over the keys to me after the grow-in.
Okay.
So I'm 6 months away from worrying about the driving range, which is pretty nice.
Good.
I'm excited.
Good.
Driving range there is it's not exactly our shining spot for
Got it.
property.
No, they take a beating.
Yep. It's a busy place. So, but yeah, things will be good. I want to get to the race, and then what happens after that? Then in July, what's going on in July? Anything happening? There's always something on your calendar.
Well, July's actually pretty quiet for me. There'll be a Rubicon trip or two. But yeah, I think Rubicon, and then
Sierra Trek, which is the second weekend.
Sierra Trek's coming into the second weekend of August.
That's correct.
So be up there for that. I know Anthony's planning on debuting his new 5-seat buggy there.
Oh, sweet.
So that'll be a blast, and he's going to have a booth there. I don't know if we're going to have a booth or not. We haven't talked about it. So we should probably talk about that.
Yep.
And get on that calendar. But yeah, no, it's cranking right along day by day.
Summer officially starts in a week and a half. So yeah, but I mean,
summer's already officially started.
No, I know.
It's
Memorial Day's already hit. So
kids are out of school. It's summertime.
It's summertime. Yeah. Well, that's all I've got. I don't really. We've kind of covered pretty much everything. We talked about Adopt a Trail, which was great. I'm glad you had fun and hurt your back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dick.
All right. Well, if that's all I got. With that,
we're out.